Hello, Internet, and thank you for joining me today. So I saw Zootopia 2, and in my opinion, it was pretty good. Go figure that the cartoon fox boy on the internet likes the movie where the fox boy is the fun and sexy hero. Now, my wish fulfillment aside, 9 years after the first one, Disney seems to have realized that Zootopia made enough furry bucks to warrant a sequel, and since they decided there was even more money to be made if they included all the scalies, we get Zootopia 2. So take a walk with me, kids. Let's dive right in. Our story starts an indeterminate amount of time after the first Zootopia, where Nick and Judy are partner cops and are being lauded for saving the city. However, the city is actually about to celebrate its centennial anniversary, and everyone is all abuzz, including the new horse mayor, which I will call Adam, since I really like YMS. They also make special mention of the Weather Walls and their creators, the Linksley family. During this big parade, Nick and Judy go rogue and cause a scene leading to them being sent to a partner therapy type thing. I wasn't really sure where this part of the movie was going, but it sets up the internal conflict between Judy and Nick. After a few investigation shenanigans, eventually we get to a fancy gala thrown by the aforementioned Linksley family, where it's revealed that a snake named Gary is in Zootopia, which is the first in its history or some shit like that. Then Nick and Judy get framed for poisoning the Idris Elba cow, and they gotta go on the run to uncover the reason that we have scaly racism in the Zootopia universe, uncovering a conspiracy involving revisionist history, a jailbreak, and some interspecies sexual tension. So that's all of the plot I feel like I can recap without spoiling things. So consider this a that warning. Okay, so starting with the things I liked. I really think that Zootopia and this week will really shine with the character writing. The story is mostly incidental, as I would put it. And I think most people can agree that the characters are the best part of that, and it continues here. And not just with the two main leads, but also the secondary and even the tertiary characters as well. I mean, Bogo, Clawhauser, Mr. Big, and even YMS Mare Horse are all great in this. However, next on my list of goods is Nick and Judy specifically. Their relationship is really the center that is holding this whole movie together, and the chemistry between the characters is just infectious. That being said, I think that the lengths that they go to tease romantic tension would be less offensive than Judy just getting dicked down by Foxman. Like, come on, just let him fuck already. It might be just that this movie looks so good that they don't do that, because if they did, it would make the furry community go absolutely nuts and DeviantArt would have to shut down overnight. The world isn't ready for this. And that's my praise for the visuals, by the way. Put that blurb on the VHS cover. Too good looking to be furry porn. Anyway, my last praise comes from the performances. Mostly. I'll get into that. Jason Bateman, however, is the standout for me, and it's not just because he plays a cool, sexy fox boy like yours truly. He brings a sense of realism to this cartoon, anthropomorphic mammal man that is unseen in even a ton of live-action actors. And that's not to say that Idris Elba, Patrick Warburton, and Kiwi Kwan don't bring some special nuances to their characters. I just feel that Bateman stands out as particularly great. He should really do more voice work. But the whole cast brings a certain level of charm, which makes all the comedy work so well. Which is really saying something, because I typically don't love the humor in these things, but it was a really quite excellent here. Okay, that's just about all the nice things I have to say about this movie. Now on to my gripes. And to segue from that last point in the positive section, Andy Samberg is awful with a capital ass. Like, I think the Scottish pig lady is bad too, but Sandberg breaks the immersion for me because he's so fucking bad. Every line coming from him is tortured and demands so much more from a better voice actor. And speaking of this villain, this doubles up on two terrible Disney villain plots. The first is the twist villain. Disney's been on this bullshit for a bit, but it doesn't even try to be clever this time. They literally are sitting in a room and they say, oh, well, there was a twist in the last movie. Oh, by the way, this is the part where we're going to make the twist villain happen. It's exhausting as a critic sitting there watching this and they're explaining their own fucking wiki page. This trope is doubly offensive by the second thing that they do, and that's that they pull a Hercules and make it so that the villain disappears from the movie for a huge chunk, and also has little to no personal connection with the main characters. They try introducing the Lonely Island cat early on in this movie and giving him kind of a weird love triangle setup. I think that's what they were going for at least, but it doesn't go anywhere, and it's actually a thing that's just hinted at and never outright stated. The reason I think that the twist villain in this is so fucking offensive is because we literally know almost nothing about Paubert before he becomes the twist villain. Because he does that thing that I mentioned where he disappears for huge chunks of the movie, we don't get any time to set up his character, thus we don't know his motivation, thus we cannot be twisted into knowing what would motivate him to be the villain. I've tried to script this like 3 different ways, but every time it comes out wrong. And after a second viewing, I'm even more pissed off about this twist villain because I just think back to like Stinky Pete from Toy Story 2 or Mr. Waternoose from Monsters Inc. or King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph. All of these characters are set up and they have personalities outside of being the villain, but all of their motivations are present from the first frame that they show up. King Candy, Wreck-It Ralph, he wants to be, beloved by children again. He wants to be played as a character, so he game jumped. That makes perfect sense. We already knew about that before the twist happens. But we know nothing about fucking Paubert before this twist happens, and he is just one of the kids of the Linksley family that is trying to be different, but then all of a sudden he doesn't want to be different. Like, it's not so much that he's a twist villain, it's that the movie lies to us. And as we remember from my Alma and the Wolf review, that kind of twist really pisses me off. And while I'm on this subject, let's talk about the Linksley family in general. They are the worst villains possibly in a modern Disney movie, aside from maybe the villain from Wish, or whoever they tried to make the villain in Elio. Actually, there's a lot of bad villains. I should probably cut this section, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy like that. Anyway, the Linksley family is really fucking bad as a villain because they literally are only a threat until people decide they aren't. I'm sitting there watching this fucking movie and all of a sudden the beaver character, she just looks at Mayor Horse and goes, "Hey Adam from YMS, you're a horse. They're lynxes. Why don't you just beat the shit out of them?" And then he does. Like, he could have just done that like an hour ago and saved us this entire fucking movie. It's so pointless to have them as the villains for this, and it's so annoying when stuff like that happens. I hate it. Alright, getting slightly back on track here, another gripe I have is how convenient several moments are. For instance, Snake Short Round just has plot armor like a motherfucker. Like, there's this scene where he goes through a water tunnel that is supposed to be pushing animals that are, water-based from place to place, and Nick and Judy follow him into that tunnel, and they both run out of air. But he doesn't. Like, I'm pretty sure that snakes can drown, right? They still need oxygen. I'm not going to look up that fact because someone will just post it down in the comments for me because they like me and they want to push up my analytics. And also, there's just a ton of little moments, but like another one to point out would be the beaver is like the fucking oracle. Like, she just knows all and sees all and can do anything that the plot requires. Like, in one scene, she just makes a key from a stick of wood out of nowhere, and it just fucking works. She also knows where all the reptiles are, what they need to do, how to speak Walrus Cajun, and stuff like this. It just keeps coming up, and it's just always so convenient, and it only really has the flimsiest excuses to do so. But that's not my biggest gripe. My biggest and final bitch is about the themes. Now, honestly, this is my biggest gripe because I've been able to gripe about this since I saw the first trailers, since I saw them drop that first teaser where they're all basically just shaking their asses. I knew that they were just going to tread the same ground that the first one did. And that is to say that this is all a big racism metaphor, right? That's what the first one was about, and that's basically what this one is about because, all right, that first one was an imperfect metaphor, but if you zoom out way far enough, you can kind of get where they were coming from, in my opinion. The first one, again, imperfect, but it was fine. This one takes that another 3 steps in the wrong direction because, unlike real-world racism, there's actually significant differences between all the different animals here. Like, they can't even all live together, as demonstrated by both of these movies. Like, it's not like the snake can live with these polar bears and these other Arctic animals. They'd all freeze to death. All the rats from the first one and all the rodents have to live in their little rodent ghetto thing. And like elephants in this one, they have a special gym just so that they can function in normal society. There's so much incompatibility with them just based on traits that we can see. It doesn't make sense to try to apply real world racism. And honestly, the answer was right there. They had it built into the script from the jump. Wealth inequality, the competition over resources is real. It's a real struggle, that is to say, in the animal kingdom. So why not bring that into like a more modern setting and make it applicable to a more human character? Like, these anthro characters, they struggle over resources, and we as humans struggle over resources, right? That's a huge part of being a person, being an animal, living, existing, right? And they had it all right there. Like, all the Lynx characters, the Lynxley family, they're set up to be super, super rich. And we can see wealth inequality because Nick and Judy juxtapose their rich lifestyle with their own shitty apartments. However, we never get to really touch on this because we get this whole revisionist history angle instead of that. But like, you have these stark contrasts with all the different animals. I don't know why this wasn't delved into further, and it's just such a missed opportunity, in my opinion, that I was frustrated the whole time. And aside from that, and a reptile environment biome would need to be made from scratch, basically. They sort of just wave a magic wand at the end of this so that the old reptile section of Zootopia comes back out of nowhere, even though that really doesn't make sense since it was covered in snow the whole movie. So did they just take all of that from the Tundra Town section and give it back to the snakes? How did they get the Tundra Town wall from blowing snow over it again? Like, even if you were to clear all that, how do you stop that biome from being that biome and a place where all the snakes can live? And also, Everything Everywhere All at Once Snake, he wasn't born in Zootopia. He doesn't know this place. This place shouldn't identify as home to him. So like, him saying, I want my family to come back, doesn't resonate with us. The same way it doesn't resonate with us that he's super good friends with Judy and Nick, because Nick doesn't know his name until the last 20 minutes. If you have answers to any of this, leave this in the comments below, because we will be testing over this. Anyway, I have those gripes, but ultimately the movie is more of the same as the first one, so if you like that kind of thing, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't like this one, and I still liked it. I still had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, the humor was good, the performances are good, and the dynamic between Judy and Nick is really fantastic. So I'm going to give it some unironic recommendations here, and that's all I've really got for you today. If you like this video, show me by leaving a like and subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize this channel and hopefully get some videos out on time for once. But until next time, sayonara, bitches.